Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, we're going to be talking very, very fast throughout the entire podcast because we're going to try to do a 2-for-1 double feature because we're doing drive-in movies, and that was a tradition for them.
Sorry. 2 for Tuesday.
How long was that? What, 16 seconds, and we already went off the rail. All right, yeah, but we are trying to do a double feature, so we're going to cover 2 movies tonight. One of them is a classic you've never heard of, Eat My Dust, starring Ron Howard. The other one I've never heard of, and I wish I hadn't. It's called ZAAT. We're going to try to cover these both fairly quickly, but there's a lot to say about both of them. So this could be a 2-part double feature kind of a thing. You never know where we're going to go with this.
We'll see.
And I am your host, Thomas Crofel. With me tonight, as always, is Calvin Roach.
I hid people in the trunk of my car to watch this movie.
And Paul Hogue.
Fish will take over.
So,
okay.
What's the first one we're going to cover? Is Eat My Dust?
Yep. And so I'm ready to start when we hear the car horn. Okay, I've started the timer. And so when we hear the car horn, we stop and go to ZAAT.
All right. Paul, start us off on, I think you picked Eat My Dust.
No, I didn't.
Oh,
you picked it.
I picked it, actually.
Tom
picked it.
Go ahead, Tom. Get us going.
Okay, so where do you begin with this outside of saying that Ron Howard, Opie of Mayberry RFD and Andy Griffith's show, is the star of this thing? The premise of it is that it's a comedy, it's a car chase, it's about horny teenagers, and that's the entire plot of the thing.
It is.
So Ron's father is the sheriff of a small town in Southern California, somewhere up north. And it was shot in like Northern California. It was actually shot partly on the Howard family ranch.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And Ron's brother and Ron's dad appeared in the film.
Yeah. Clint Howard was in it, his brother.
And Rance Howard is his dad.
Yeah.
So the sheriff of the town, who is Hoover's father, Hoover being played by Ron Howard, he likes this girl, and he decides that he's going to take the girl on a joyride because she wants to go fast. And that's kind of the way she said it. I want to go fast. And so Ron, being a horny teenager that he was, wearing his Northern Cavalry helmet or hat, whatever that thing is called, steals Big Bubba Red's car, which is the fastest car in the county. And I can't think of the name of the actor who played Big Bubba Red or whatever he was calling, but he was in McHale's Navy and a bunch of other schlocky kind of comedy.
Oh, yeah. In the Partridge Family.
Yeah, he was in the Partridge Family.
Yeah.
And his last name was Jones in this movie. And he worked with Shirley Jones.
That's a stretch.
This movie was made in 1976, just prior to Happy Days becoming a hit on television. So, and I was thinking today that Eat My Dust did the same for Ron Howard's career that Corvette Summer did for Mark Hamill. Nothing. These movies didn't do anything for their career.
I will argue with that point. Because So
I would too.
Roger Corman really wanted Ron Howard in this movie, and understand he's already started. Although Happy Days isn't a hit yet, he has already started shooting Happy Days,
Right, right.
and he had just finishing up the Shootist.
Oh, I forgot about the Shootist.
Yeah, the John Wayne flick.
Yeah.
And so he was pretty busy for his time, so he didn't want to do the movie. Corman talked him into it by promising him a directorial job on Grand Theft Auto.
No kidding.
So Ron Howard's career, in a very real sense, got kicked off. His directorial career got kicked off
Oh,
because he took this movie.
I'll be darned. I really stand corrected on that because I didn't know that. That's fantastic. That's great.
I forgive you.
Thanks, Paul. I'll put away the whips now.
Let me hang my halo back up. Okay.
You know, there was a couple times in that movie when after they ditched their friends in the race car, which was named Mabel, and it's just Ron and the girl Darlene, who is just cute as a button, but they're racing down the road and she keeps going faster, faster. And I had begun having Reefer Madness flashbacks.
When you start doing that, faster,
faster.
But what got me was Ron, faithful to his friends, he stops, he picks up the girl after he steals the car. They're still in the racetrack.
Yeah.
They all pour into the car. So there's like 5 people in this car with doors that will not open and has a roll cage. And then they burst through the crowd, barely missing everyone, burst through the gates of the racetrack.
He should have been charged with attempted murder just for getting out.
Yeah. And then, he goes barreling down the street and they're going up and down the roads, having a grand time. There's a lot of sight gags of them almost hitting people and people throwing things into the air or falling off into mud and things like that. And then the girl goes, let's go pick up so-and-so. I forget what the guy's name was.
But he was her boyfriend.
He was her boyfriend. He had broken his foot or something.
Yeah.
And of course, Ron reluctantly agrees and they go pick him up. And then they're joyriding around and he's shooting quail out the window.
With his broken leg in the cast hanging out of the window. And why are you bringing the shotgun? Well, it's pheasant season. And so there they go, and I'm like, my friends and I would have done this exact fucking thing.
Yeah, we would have.
I mean, honestly, I enjoyed the movie. I remember seeing it a long time ago. And it was, it's thin on plot. It's a fun movie. To me, this is one of those quintessential summer drive-in movies. You can enjoy the movie or you can make out with your girlfriend and not worry about the movie. It's just there.
I was going to say, it's one of those films for drive-ins, kind of like some films today, where if they're on, you just watch them. You flip through all the channels, but you come back around to it. This is that drive-in movie that if it's on, you just go see it because it's there.
Yeah, exactly. But there were a lot of, you saw a lot of actors in this movie who were pretty much stock actors in every 70s movie and TV show that came out.
All of the deputies and half the townsfolk. Happened to see Corbin Bernsen's film debut in this.
Yeah.
Not his proudest role, I don't think.
Probably not. No. But yeah, I mean, it's just driving fast. I guess it kind of predates Dukes of Hazzard by a year or so.
Probably so. Where were we in the car chase? Because at one point, he does pick up one more person. This guy has crossed the railroad tracks on foot, bought some burgers. He's going back across, but the train comes along, so they steal his burgers, throw him in the back of the car. So now there's like 9 people in here, and they're driving around and they stop to eat someplace, and he's basically been kidnapped. He's at one of their friends' house, and Ron Howard goes to the girl, the car would go faster if we didn't have so many people in it. It would be lighter and faster. And she's like, really? Let's go. So they take off again, but they're on their own and everybody else is disappointed. And they're up in the hills someplace. And Big Bubba Red comes to the sheriff and says, I got a plan. I can stop him. The sheriff's like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
But he finally acquiesces. And while Ron and the girl stop in a barn because they're out of gas, Ron hooks up a buggy and horse, and he goes with milk cans, actual cans, metal cans, and fills up the milk cans with gas. And here's part of the sight gags going through this is that the story of his great escapades is blaring out over the radio. They call him by name. Hey, Hoover, how's it going? Is what the gas station guy says. And he's like, Hoover so-and-so is on, running amok through the town. And the guy doesn't catch it at all. The sheriff deputies pulls up in the car and doesn't even notice him because he's with a horse and buggy. Ron comes back to the house. The girl's in the bathtub. She gets out. She's brushing her dry hair.
Yeah.
She just got out of the bathtub. Ron's in the shower. He's, after you steal gas, you just gotta get clean. So he's in the shower and he gets lucky. She joins him in the shower. There's fireworks galore.
He breaks off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Now we've got him for endangering, attempted murder, grand theft auto, probably rape, breaking and entering.
No, I don't think there was any. I mean, well, unless he was over 18, I don't think the rape charge is going to stick because she threw off her robe and got in that shower of her own volition.
Unless she's underage, and then that ain't going to help him. So,
no. But I mean, his dad, the sheriff, is on the local radio station, hoping that Hoover will hear him, and he's bargaining with his son, like, well, if you stop right now,
negotiating his return.
It's like, if you just turn yourself in right now, it'll just be 3 years and 80% of your salary, and he just keeps driving and says no, and eventually, the main do what?
There's a flaw in that because there was just an intercom system in the car to talk to the pit crew. They had taken the radio out, but yet Ron still says no.
Yeah.
He can hear his dad broadcast over the airwaves.
Well, I know why, because at that point, that's when the sheriff had allowed Bubba's plan to take into effect. They were in race cars.
Yeah.
Because he got all of his race car buddies, because the police cars were like upside down in ditches or center hung on things, because they couldn't catch up. And when they kind of narrow it down to that farm where the family is vacationing and they've taken their showers, they narrow it down, and that's when Ron Howard backs through the barn, slams into the race car with his dad in it,
and almost kills him.
And then his dad's like, Hoover, get your ass out of that car. And he drives the other way. He goes, no, Dad, it's my destiny, or something like that. And off they go again. And I have to say, the guy that the sheriff's riding with is the actor. He's laughing his ass off the whole time that he's driving this, chugging an Olympia beer, and he's got a crocheted beer can hat on.
Yeah.
A staple of the 70s kid.
My dad had one of those, Old Milwaukee.
I want one of those right now. And a friend of mine said she'd crochet it, but she doesn't drink, so it has to be soft drink cans. I'll take an all Mountain Dew hat.
If she'll just put generic can, we'll fix that for you.
Yeah. But he was wearing that crochet beer can hat, and that was just a 70s thing for me. And in fact, it reminded me of one time at Bald Knob, Arkansas, at one of the strawberry jams, before the modern pop top on beer cans appeared in '85. There was a guy there wearing a chainmail shirt made of beer pull tabs.
Uh,
I I just did that whole thing, whole I'm not worthy thing to him. But anyway, I mean, the chase goes on until they eventually run out of gas, and they show back. Oh, incidentally, this takes place on Halloween.
oh yeah.
Yeah, all day race on Halloween and things like that. And they eventually run out of gas and pull back to the race, back up to the actual racetrack. And Ron Howard, because this girl has wanted to just drive fast and recklessly and live dangerously, and they made it in the shower, he thinks that she's there. And he says, well, that's it. The ride's over. And she kisses him on the cheek and starts to walk away. And he's like, well, I'm going to grow my hair out. I feel it growing right now. She's like, but the ride's over, Hoover, and walks off. And he's just standing there. I'm like, that bitch.
But he doesn't say it.
No, but I do.
Yeah.
Out loud. I scared the dog.
And then
Calvin
what
actually
happens?
texts us and tells us how mad he is at this girl.
He did.
I was like, oh my God, after all that, he still doesn't get the girl. Ah!
He didn't get to keep the girl.
No, but Bubba shows up and apparently has negotiated with Hoover's dad.
Their love conquered a nation.
Their love conquered a nation. And Bubba's like, get in the car. I think you've got a career on the short track. And they get in the car and they just take off driving around the track. And literally there's a sunset shot of the car driving toward the sunset.
Yeah.
You know, I knew what he meant when he says, you got to, I can't remember the exact words, but he said something like, you got a whole career on the short track.
Yeah.
But it sounds like he's insulting him. Like, I guess I'll be on the short track, if you know what I mean.
It's like that go-kart place used to be here in Conway, the slick track go-kart. We called it Headless Willie's Slick Track Go-Kart.
Headless Willie's is a good name. I like that.
Okay, so impressions, Paul.
Well, it broke ground for having the last time you could wear Civil War hats in a movie, apparently. Reason
Get away with it.
Like, I think it's a Union kepi.
It is.
Yeah.
But his belt buckle is a Confederate flag.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little mixed up, especially because you're in California. You know, fucking yeah.
Well, California didn't really know where to go with that whole thing, so
They're like we're just trying to grow some avocados. Look like balls, Also, one thing I noticed, and I'd read about it in the trivia section on this, was the police cars started out as Pontiacs.
Yeah.
They turned into AMC Mavericks.
They sure didn't they? I didn't even notice that. You pointed it out.
And the thing is, yeah, they're similar shaped cars, but the AMC Mavericks are good, 10 inches shorter than the Pontiac. Yeah, they apparently they went through a whole bunch of, from the first things where they ran them off into ditches. The Pontiacs weren't driving so well at that point. And so they had to get a bunch of new police cars, and they didn't have any more Pontiacs, so they got and so they switched them all over to AMC Mavericks.
But
all right, Calvin, your impressions.
Well, I really enjoyed this movie. I would sit down and watch it again tonight, because it's just mindless fun.
It is fun. It's a dumb movie, but it's fun.
Do what, Paul? I'm sorry.
It's a fun movie, but it's dumb.
It's a fun movie, but it's dumb. Because when Hoover and Darlene are coming back into town after the whole thing is over, they're driving real slow. There's all these little kids in Halloween costumes running alongside the car, cheering and carrying on. I mean, he's become a local hero because this has been broadcast over the local radio station, and everybody knows what's happened. And
Like
so it had kind of a feel good ending up to the point with the woman.
it's
But
like the not as bright version of Vanishing Point.
I
yes.
love that movie.
I love
But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a fun movie.
By the way,
There's
beautifully shot. There's some great cinematography in this movie.
yeah, there is.
So,
But when I first saw that, Roger Corman, I saw his name pop up on the screen. My first thought was, "Oh dear God, what are we in for?" But then, it was fun. I mean, there was very little bad language. Oh, it went off.
that is it.
That's it for Eat My Dust.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're moving on to the second part of our double feature podcast. ZAAT. Who was the fool that picked this?
Yeah. Oh, that was me. I will tell you, I saw some video on YouTube the other night, and he was listing kind of forgotten science fiction movies, mostly bad ones. And I saw this one. I'm like, that's the one we're going to watch. So that is really
Tell them the premise. Tell them the premise.
I'm doing that right now. Because literally, if you want to know the premise, you watch the first 5 minutes of the movie. They explain the entire movie in 5 minutes. Because there's this guy, he's this scientist, and he's pretty pissed off at the world and especially his coworkers. So he decides he's been working on this formula called ZAAT. And ZAAT basically is supposed to grow animals to super sizes, which they never actually show that ever.
No, that never happens.
But he applies it to himself, and it's somehow he's mixing himself with the catfish, right?
Yeah,
And-
the walking catfish epidemic of the early 70s. This was from 1971. I remember this as a kid. People panicking.
Yeah.
People panicking over African walking catfish.
Yeah, this was a real thing because there were minnow ponds that had the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And so anyway, so he's going to supposedly turn it around. And he has this big tank in it's supposed to be this old abandoned laboratory that did all these experiments years before. And he lowers himself into the tank, and it's got these chemicals, and he comes back out, and he's supposed to look like a catfish, but even he is shocked at how much he does not look like a catfish. Because I have a feeling they got this suit, and they're like, well, this looks nothing like a catfish. This looks like a couple of hog hats got inverted on this guy's head. We just put, paper mache and spray painted it all green.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded his headpiece reminded me of those horse head things that you see. People they put them on and they dance or they play the drums or something.
Yeah.
It's like they took that, turned it inside out, and spray painted it greenish. But to me, that's what it looked like.
So he's got this kind of snout, right?
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking, I wonder if they used an old hog hat for that,
Yeah.
And but it turns out an interview with the filmmakers years later, because apparently no one who's ever watched this movie could figure out why the hell it looked like that. And they explained that it's supposed to be a sucker. So like when he attacks that one kid, and he's like,
oh yeah,
he kills this kid, and there's blood and everything, and all you see is just him like tapping his snout on this kid.
Because and one of the things that kind of caught me was in the opening 5 minutes. You see the old man, he's shuffling. There's this somewhat cultured voice doing the narration, which are his thoughts in his head.
Actually that actor. He was the
really. But he never spoke in that movie. He never said an actual word
as Leopold. Right.
As Leopold. And of course, apparently he was obsessed with creating an aquatic race of people to take over the world.
I just wrote Fishman down every time. They didn't even name him.
No,
other than his, and you never see Leopold again. It's just the monster. And
yeah,
apparently, it was a local guy that they had a 6'4" suit. They literally put out an ad in the local paper when they were
yeah.
shooting this down in Florida. And this guy says, "I'll do it." And they put this, 6 foot guy in a 6'4" suit, and he tramped around and pretended to kill people as a fish man.
Yeah, and one of the things that I did find interesting was it was filmed almost entirely on location in a very small area because they had almost no budget for this thing.
Yeah.
And they filmed a lot of the stuff at night. They had permission from like the local aquariums, tourist.
Marine Lab. And I recognize some stuff from Marine
Yeah.
Lab.
So they would do the filming at night inside his secret laboratory, which was really just like it looks like a bank of county fair arcade machines.
Yeah, one of them looked like an actual pachinko machine.
And at one point, when he's fiddling with it on the settings before going into the tank, there is a freaking phone dial on one of the machines, and he dials it 3 times.
Jeez.
Well, every time they showed the laboratory, and I'm going to say, I'm saying it like that, laboratory.
Laboratory. But
It was
So
the
he ends up.
filthiest laboratory I've ever seen.
So there's this voiceover, and he's telling the whole thing in the
Yeah.
whole movie. Basically, he's going to try to, he's got this ZAAT chemical. It's what turned him into a fish. And then he's got this big wheel. It looks like an Aztec calendar, and it's his plan for the next month. It's what
Yeah.
he has instead of Outlook. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and two of the things are two of the other scientists he worked with, and he's going to go kill them immediately. And apparently, one of them is just
Across
with
the
a knife
street.
kid in a boat, out on the water, which they never explain what this is. It's like a lagoon or whatever.
It's one of those several Florida springs where the water is real clear.
Yeah.
And freshwater springs is what they
So
are.
he goes swimming into that, comes up under the boat, knocks them all in the water, murders boss number one. I never see what happened to the kid. I guess the kid drowned.
He
Yeah.
drowned, and he touched the wife, and she died of fright.
Yeah.
Literally touched her. Well, no, it turns out she was alive because they said later she was in shock.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I thought she was dead too because he just like touches her. She's like has the look that she has been. They have told her to look scared, and she is putting everything she can into this look. And then she freezes as soon as he touches them, and you think she's dead, but she's just in shock. So now they're looking for him. Now he's going to go kill the other scientist, and this guy is like playing with his rod and reel. That sounds really suggestive in his house. And he goes in, kills that guy. So now he's killed 2 people. Well, now while he's been going around, he's been seeing this really pretty girl, and she's been on the beach, and she was doing some painting, and then she goes swimming around, and he's like spying on her, and you find out Leopold's kind of a perv. So now he's gonna go after her, and what you find out is he wants to start like a catfish master race, and
Yeah.
but he has to convert her into the fish thing. So they take her back. He takes her back to the lab. He's got her in this rescue basket, which he originally did the rescue basket thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing about the rescue basket is when he gets into it, you're like, man, if he actually pushes that rope, he's just going to drown right here. So they had to cut away. So now he's got her in the basket, and he brings out the biggest goddamn needle you have ever seen.
It looks like it's filled with antifreeze, with that bright green antifreeze.
And I think it probably was, and I think she actually got the shot. And they have some loving camera work across her just absolutely flawless body, flawless until he dumps her into the water, and apparently. It doesn't work, and she is killed. And he gets mad and starts smashing up the laboratory. But
I don't think she could swim. If you watched closely, she kept grabbing at this red tube, and right before she went under, she shoved it in her mouth. It was the air hose she was using to breathe.
Wow. Okay, I missed that. But
I missed that too. So
Okay, but
he
go ahead,
kills
Paul.
she dies, and he's got to get rid of her. So fortunately, he just happens to have an acid bath that will melt any flesh, which he
Yeah,
tests by putting a fish in it and pulling it out, and all the flesh is eaten off the fish like it's a cartoon fish that's gone into a cat's mouth and been pulled out. It's
yeah,
just bones.
yeah.
And so
Oh,
he
and oh, meanwhile, just like all of these 70 drive-in shows, especially like Frogs, they keep showing all these other exotic animals like octopi and grouper and eel and
That
things
have
for
they're just,
no
like
reason.
it's like the fish are the spectators to what he's doing.
Well, and before he starts his killing campaign, the first part of it is he wants to spread around ZAAT and grow all these animals. He
Yeah,
says that.
he says that. You're
So
right.
what does he do? He takes a freaking Windex bottle underwater.
And
You
starts
know,
squirting this
he's a
red juice,
scientist. He doesn't understand air pressure, apparently. And he's literally like he's putting out miracle
spritzing
on
the
the ship.
ocean.
But during all of this, don't forget, Paul. During all of this, we've got the redneck sheriff who doesn't believe anything. He just keeps saying it's some damn walking catfish, and he sits around playing with his revolver and stuff. There's a scientist who's the only black man in this movie.
Yeah, Rex.
He's a scientist, and the sheriff keeps calling him boy.
Yeah, I was like,
Um,
and I
but
thought that was going to be the worst of it.
yeah, I did too, but boy, was I surprised.
And
The
But
actor that played Rex was probably the most professional of all of the ones in
oh
this
yeah,
film.
yeah.
he was really working hard to make this thing come off good. He really
Well,
was.
I'll say this too. Walker was pretty good.
Walker, yeah, the
And
other scientist.
so they bring in this in pit, I think is
Yeah,
the name of it,
Yeah,
which is some sort of quasi governmental group, I guess. So they never really,
X-Files kind of thing.
yeah. And apparently this is the kind of thing they investigate. So it's Walker and I forget
Martha. Her name was
Martha.
Martha.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Martha's pretty fine.
he's cute.
She's and they get her. We get to see her legs a few times,
Yeah.
and because it certainly wasn't her acting ability,
No, no.
because she was literally, you could tell she's just reading it straight through.
Yeah.
She's got about. I'm pretty sure she was like second runner up in the Miss Cypress Gardens beauty contest.
Miss Manatee
her
contest.
acting was not bad, but it was like if the word was wrong in the cue cards, she said it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
She did
Uh,
struggle with a few words. That's true.
but apparently the scientists and Rex are making some headway. They're finding out the water has high levels of radiation in it, and they can't figure out why. Um, in the meantime, the monster, like Paul was talking about, is still rampaging around,
Spritzing everything.
spritzing everything. Um, and
And
then
nothing happens with it because, of course, it wouldn't.
and then it,
When I saw him just doing this, I'm like, "You've got to be freaking kidding me!"
you know, but when they
Forget the parts per million. Huh?
and here, okay, here is the best part of this movie right here, and I mean that honestly. The hippie sing along.
I knew you were going to say that.
Which
That
charmed the hell out of the sheriff.
charmed the sheriff, and the sheriff led the hippies down the street and locked them up for safety.
Yeah, yeah.
And all these people who were coming into the sheriff's office and stuff, he was, mad and hanging up on them. And when he is out with Rex and Walker trying to find the monster, as much as that sheriff loved that revolver, when the monster confronted him, instead of backing up to shoot him,
Tried to hit him.
he runs. He throws the revolver at the monster.
It took him like 30 seconds to get it out of his holster.
Yeah, it was hung up in the holster, and then he just rushed forward and he tried to hit the monster with the gun.
Yeah. So it turns out at some point while they're doing the investigation, the monster for some reason knows exactly where they are and just stands outside the window listening to their conversations.
Yes.
Because he tried to actually, Rex was trying to catch him with a net,
Yes.
or he was just throwing out a net, and that's the first time he encounters the monster.
Yes.
Then he and Walker run into it later, and Walker actually stabs the monster, so at some point the monster, about the time the hippie sing-along happened, he breaks up a pharmacy to get some medicine.
Yeah.
He didn't put it on the wound, he just drinks it.
Here, look, formaldehyde.
And, it's like ZAAT. You just drink.
Basically, just drinking ZAAT.
But because the first lady dies, got to get another one. He has spotted Martha. He's decided he's going to get Martha. So
he's going to be Fish Woman.
That's right.
She will create his race.
He goes back to the house the next day, and he breaks in. And Martha really does not do a good job defending herself. And as soon as she's picked up, she's unconscious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's back up for just a moment. Now, at one point, they went, he's leaving a radioactive trail, and he's got the Geiger counter. He just kind of swings it around and goes, he went that way. Yeah. How he determined that, I don't know. But then he runs and jumps into this G.I. Joe action team 6-wheel doom buggy thing.
Right.
And hits the swamps. And then somehow or other, he crashes it in the swamps and got bit by a leech or something. I didn't see what happened.
No. Okay, so he got bit by a snake.
Okay.
But here's the thing. In the trivia section, he actually was bitten by that snake. So
really?
He's, I don't think he was supposed to drive that ATV into the water. I think they were trying to explain, it's an all-terrain vehicle, and he thought it meant literally all-terrain. So he drives it into the water, and it does not work in the water. Okay, yeah. So he gets it stuck. He ends up going through the water, he's got a rifle, and he's literally he's underwater completely at one point, but he's got the Geiger counter underwater still. As he's coming back up he's pretty tired. I think he was genuinely tired.
He was limping real bad from the snake bite.
A snake swims up to him.
Yeah.
And he literally grabs the snake and throws it several feet away. According to the trivia piece, that snake just turned around and shot right back at him.
Oh, God.
Hit him on the leg. So that was totally legit. It did say it did not kill him.
Well, he did finish the film. So we're under a minute here, probably down to 45 seconds. Thoughts on this film? I think it hit every one of the criteria that we have for what makes a bad movie.
This movie is almost up there with Torture Dungeon for me. Because it was just so bad.
I wanted it to end and yet keep going. Because this is definitely a good drink with your friends and watch a bad movie.
Well, apparently before the monster dies, he did inject Martha with something, and she wades into the ocean as Walker begs her to stay, and then he dies on the beach as she walks into the waves.
Yeah.
So,
and Rex is apparently, if you double the bad movies, you double the bad time management. Maybe they'll get it better next time on Turkish Diplomats present Charming Noise.